Hello lovely friends, I've got a treat for you today, something completely different this week. Steve made this cornhole game for a family party and now it's my turn to paint it. A big thank you, and I'm very grateful to all my members. Look out for your perks and thank you so much. The technique that I used is a bit of a Dutch pour with a twist. My first art fusion piece.
Oh, going for the sliding tactics. Yay!
Go.
Ah. Oh. Yay!
That was a lot of fun. We gave it a bit of a try out before I started to paint it. So at that stage, I'd already primed it with some white primer. And now I'm battling the elements to get the wind to settle. And I thought I'd do a mad bit of a Dutch pour with a twist outside. I've never painted outside, especially not fluid art. And we know why we don't paint outside now, don't we? There are insects around, there's nature that will get into the pour, but I thought, you know what, I really want to do it outside, so I gave it a try. I put down a nice plastic sheet which is reused from Steve's work, colours all prepped, and I got two colours, my iridescent green blue and my cerulean blue, and I created a base. This was really fun, doing a Dutch pour outside with my hairdryer in the sunshine. Felt very freeing indeed. I just let my hairdryer guide the paint down the canvas, and that blue and greenish blue iridescent Pebeo together created a beautiful pattern. Can you see I'm aiming to get more blue in the darker paint down the bottom side, and towards the top I want that lighter iridescent green blue. And later on I'm going to be furrowing this yellow and gold more towards the centre, because I want it to almost act like an arrow, so that when you're throwing the bean bags towards the hole, you've got light taking you in that direction. So I've got my lime greens, I've got my dark blues and my white, and I'm now playing with colour and pattern before I get my hairdryer and blow it in a traditional Dutch pour. So I'm literally blowing it in both sides. That's quite a nice little pattern in itself. I really like the base. And now I'm going to be blowing out, coming from the side of this one because there's a lot of paint and I want it all to be spread quite evenly. I'm intuitively just going where the paint is and in the direction of where I'd like a really nice pattern. So I'm just looking at the different colours that are occurring as I blow the paint out, and I'm beginning to think how I'm going to layer it, and I've decided at this point to add extra colour. So there's the paint blown all the way down the bottom, all the drips are kept, and I'm doing another pour with them later on. That white looks lovely actually with that green and lime and blue. So at this point I thought, what a lovely base colour, and it needs spreading out a bit more because you don't want too much paint to collect, and I didn't want the paint really going over the side of the masking tape. So I'm just following the line up there, and I'm deciding to put more yellow down at the top, because that yellow and gold is going to be that arrow. Some lime there, a little bit of white. It's interesting when you layer the paints, can you see how that came out with that particular layering? The yellow is more of a dominant colour. I've gone over the side there, but it doesn't matter too much. Interestingly, this masking tape is one I wouldn't use again. In fact, it's not masking tape, it's duct tape. And I've got some really good duct tape that acts just as well, if not better, than masking tape. but I wouldn't recommend this particular one. It's too thin and not sticky enough. Anyway, so this is the point where it's the Dutch pour with a twist. I decided, partly because I wanted the paint to be isolated, and partly because I wanted to try a new technique or a new way of doing something. I was thinking, is this some sort of inverse Dutch pour or something? Is it reverse Dutch pour? But then I realised there's a reverse Dutch pour already exists, but that's one for another time. So I've just layered down some nicely dampened kitchen towel, paper towel, all the way down from the top to the bottom. I'm keeping the camera focused on the top, so sorry if you can't see the whole thing at the moment, but I'll show you in a minute. I just wanted to show you how I'm going to collect up the paper towel at the top. So a bit like a reverse flower dip created by the wonderful Fiona Art. I collect up the sides and I walk it down to the end, and then as it came halfway down I picked it up again and walked it down, and this time I gathered it in a little bit more towards the centre. Because there's more paint, there's a wider surface area, I wanted to make sure that the paint was coming more towards the centre. Can you see that? So I did that really gently and quite slowly. This is sped up, so now you can see there's a central almost arrow going towards the top. At this stage I've never done anything like this before, so I was wondering what it looked like, and what I did know was there was a lot of yellow at the top and it was darker at the bottom, so I thought I'd do a few swirls and make a bit more of a pattern and help the flow towards the hole. So when you're playing that game, you're definitely heading towards the hole. At this stage I was wondering what colour to do it, so I hadn't decided on colours other than I really fancied these almost sea colours and that goldy yellow at the top. So just putting in a bit more of a swirl with my cocktail stick. Now I don't know if you can see this too much later on, but when it dried, something fell in the paint and I was able to embellish it at the end. But that's one of the things when something's left outside. Our lovely Labrador Eve didn't put her paw in it. She kept away from it, funnily enough, but something did get in it, and there's also like something that came off the palm tree in there as well. So just enjoying this part now. I'll just leave you for a moment and I'll come back once it's dry and show you how I took the masking off and then painted it another colour around the outside. So now it's dried, it's about a week later, and I've mixed some paints together, which is a mix of ultramarine blue, a little bit of black, phthalo green and phthalo turquoise, and it creates a gorgeous, really deep teal colour. It looks almost navy blue, but in the light you can see it's got that sort of greeny, bluey sheen to it. In the sun it looks gorgeous. I think it really highlights this nicely. So masking up now, I put the masking tape on the dried paint, and at this point I'm deciding how much I want to have the strip down the side. At this point I'm thinking I would like a white strip, and I'd like the whole to be highlighted in white paint, which I'm just going to paint, hand paint. So I'm masking up now, thinking, okay, so can you see how messy the line is there from that particular masking tape? If you're not sure, use this masking tape, which is duct tape. That's a fantastic tape and I never have any problems with that. So I'm putting the masking tape just alongside of the dried painting, and I'm deciding how much of that I'd like to whiten up. And first of all, I'm literally going to use that as a guide, and I'm going to go about 1/2 inch away from that in the base colour. Can you see how this looks like a teal green? It's more green than teal, wouldn't you say? So I'm just using a standard brush and I'm doing some nice painting strokes up and down. I've been painting walls since I was 3 years old. And this feels very natural to me to do this. I used to help mum and dad. Have you used art in this way? Have you been doing any art fusion pieces? I'd love to know which materials you've been using in your art projects. So getting a nice even coverage of this teal green, and I found in the end that this was 3 layers that I needed to do to get it really solid colour, and I'm going to varnish it afterwards. So I'll leave you to enjoy this with a bit of music, and I'll come back once the paint has dried and I mask it up again to do the white strip around the bottom, the sides and the hole. Not enough credit goes to Steve. He just creates things out of nothing. This is just bits of wood that he's found, and he's put them together and he's engineered it, and he's made the bean bags from his own sewing machine and sand he's got. So absolutely amazing. And that means that we have a party game to use at the weekend for our family party barbecue. So happy about that. Really appreciate it. And he doesn't get enough praise really for all the things he just engineers so easily. When he was in the Navy, he was an artificer, and an artificer is someone who is an engineer that makes one-offs, and that is him all over. He's a complete inventor, and he can make something out of nothing, constantly surprising me. I'd like to give a big shout out to Dave and Kathy from Travelling Tramps. Please go and check out their channel. They're an amazing couple. Thank you so much for being my first ever members. I appreciate you. So you probably saw that I was touching up the main painting there. Where something had got in it, I decided to use a bit of a darker paint, and I then used the same colour all the way through, so you can't really tell. And it will disappear as well once you varnish it. So I'm just taped up the circle, and I want to have some really nice sharp lines, so I'm holding it down as I go around. And that was 3 layers as well of white. And I'm pleased with the line so far, but because of the paints being so different from each other, this is emulsion. It's not going to be left outside, so it's okay, but I would normally use outside paints. Can you see the sharp lines now as I finish it? So I can see now that I need to sharpen up the main lines a bit more. So I'm literally just using the same coloured paint, and the masking tape is nicely tightly down onto the wooden piece. This is one of my first times as well painting wood. It's certainly my first wood video. It's just so versatile. One of the inspirations that I have for painting on wood, especially wood fusion or art fusion, is Louise McKay. Louise McKay Art. You need to go and check out her channel if you haven't already. She's got some amazing natural wood art fusion pieces on her channel. So I'm really gently using the paintbrush to go around the circle, and what I tend to do is I turn the brush really gently and really slowly so you get a really accurate finish. And then I can see that I need to go over the lines a couple more times, just as I would the main coloured paint, and I'm almost ready just to leave it for about 5-10 minutes. In the UK in the summer, when it's about 20 to 30 degrees, this paint will just dry within 10 to 20 minutes for a second coat, but I would leave it probably a good few hours before varnishing it, if not a day or two. So I'm coming towards the end now, and I'm literally just touching up the corners and beginning to get excited because the paint is drying. Can you see the colour? It's really hard to see it from here, but it's almost looks like a navy blue, but it is actually a really lovely darkish green teal. So I went inside and I looked at what Steve, my husband, had made. He had an amazing creation here. He got some bits of wood, he put them together, and he's doing a bit of tailoring, and he's got an industrial sewing machine, and he ended up getting some bits of material, sewed them together, filled them with sand, and so then we were able to have the bean bags as well. That was us at the beginning having a game with the bean bags that he had made as well. So it's all homemade. The plastic as well that you saw, plastic sheeting, was also reused from his work. There's a lot of sheeting that he uses to package things up in their company, and the sheets are perfect also, not only for lying things out on and for doing art on, but they're great for collecting skins. So by accident, when I was painting on top of one of the sheets last week, I discovered how much, a skin would peel off easily after a couple of hours. So I don't know if you've ever tried to make skins, but silicone or plastic sheeting is really good for that. So final details now, and here we are. Here is the cornhole game, all ready for a family party that we're going to have next Saturday. So thank you, hubby, you're a superstar. If you've enjoyed this art fusion on wood, please do let me know. I hope you're having a good time with your art. It makes my day when we communicate and you tell me what you like and what you'd like to see. So you take care, and don't forget your art is a piece of you, so it's very special. Thank you for being here. Thank you to my wonderful members. Take care now, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.